Hey y'all, it's Mitch with Guitar Town Guns. I'm getting out and ready to go hunting there this afternoon. And I figured I'd talk a little bit about, my hunting bag and stuff you should keep in your vehicle for survival purposes in case you get stranded or lost or whatever. So the first thing I'm going to start with is, things that you should keep in your vehicle. I don't have it here, but I usually carry about 5 or 6 bottles of water inside my vehicle in the cooler months. Just regular, bottles of water, just in case. And in the summertime, it's not good to keep those regular bottles of water, so you would have to find a different container. But that can be done. First of all, in my vehicle, I always have a tarp. This is a simple 8x8 tarp, and if you get stranded, this can provide shelter. Lots of uses. You can cover things in the back of your vehicle and whatnot. Also, I have my old green wool military, U.S. Air Force military or whatever blanket. This is a good thing to keep in your vehicle. Even when hunting, you can lay this down on some wet ground and keep yourself dry, or the tarp or whatever, or it will help keep you warm if you're stranded in your vehicle and you're waiting for help to arrive. Also, in case you break down and have to hump at home for whatever reason, if you do not work in good footwear, then you should carry a spare pair of boots, a good pair of boots with, that will enable you to walk a long distance. Every pair of shoes I have the gel inserts so I can walk a long period. And, footwear is where it's important. An army moves on its feet, and that's kind of where I get that. So have some boots if you wear regular work shoes or sneakers or whatever to work. I'm a blue collar guy, carpenter by trade. I wear boots every day. I can keep the boots, but I always keep a spare pair of boots in my vehicle just in case I'm hunting and my feet get wet or whatever. So it's always good to have a spare pair of boots in your vehicle. In the winter months, I carry this little bag with some cold weather clothing. What I have here is a thermal shirt in case it gets really cold, some thermal pants in case it gets really cold, an extra pair of wool socks. This is a pair of gloves, warm weather gloves. There. This in this little bag is a rain jacket in some sort of camouflage thing in case it rains and in case you need to move through the woods and not be noticed. So I keep that in this little bag. Most of the time when I'm hunting, being in Tennessee, it's not very cold here sometimes. I carry these normal mechanics shooting gloves, and those usually keep my hands warm enough. If it gets particularly colder, I have these redhead wool gloves that I can switch out to, and worst came the worst scenario, if it gets really cold, these will fit over this. I've made sure of that. And I have a wool cap just in case. You lose most of your body heat through your head, so the important thing is to keep your head warm. I am bald, so I really need to keep my head warm. And I also have a wool ski mask in case I need to do some sort of clandestine secret squirrel type of shit. So there's that. I keep this little bag in my truck along with my tarp and my blanket. Okay, so now let's talk about hunting. You want to be prepared, especially if you're not a very good outdoorsman. I'm fairly decent at it, thanks to Uncle Sam, thanks to my brother and my father, who are great hunters. I don't have a handheld GPS, but my vehicle GPS has an option on it where you can set it to where it's, you know, set on foot. So if you mark your vehicle or mark your camp or whatever, you can mark that and then leave it off, because the batteries don't last very long on this, and if you get lost, you can make it back to your vehicle. I have a little camera pocket thing that it will fit in, that will keep it dry. I'm looking currently as to getting a smaller handheld one, but this will work, and most of you have GPSs on your phones or whatever, but phones don't seem to work out in the woods very well, but a normal GPS will get you back to your destination. So there's that until I can get a handheld one. If you are hunting with a friend, it is a good idea to have a set of walkie-talkies. These are Midland GXTs something or other. They're about $65 for the pair. Even if I'm hunting alone, I carry one of these. These are normal Citizens Band radios, and if I get lost or stranded or hurt, chances are I'm going to be able to call for help on this. So I always carry at least one of these. If I'm hunting with a friend, I'll carry two. Okay, on my person. My normal EDC, sure. This is my normal EDC knife. It is a Buck Bantam 3-inch knife, whatever. This is my normal knife, but since I have a tendency to lose things, I have a backup. But when I'm hunting, what I have here is this little pouch here that will hold 10 extra rounds of rifle ammo. This is my deer skinning knife with the hook and everything, so there's one knife there. So I've got two knives on me. My normal EDC is the Glock 19 magazine pouch with two 17-round mags. That's 50 rounds of pistol ammo. I don't know about other hunters, but I really do not feel comfortable going anywhere without a pistol, especially out in the woods. Some people do and some people don't. You know, it's a personal preference, but I personally would not go out into the woods without a backup gun. You may have to drop your rifle because of weight. Your rifle may malfunction. There are animals out there that might want to eat your ass. So it's always good to have a pistol out in the woods. And if you're a normal, you know, EDC carrier, then you're pretty much used to the fact. Always have chapstick. The outdoors will do horrendous things to your lips. And another thing is that chapstick is flammable. So, in case you need that. If you take any kind of medicine and you go out into the woods, have 3 days at least, minimum, worth of medicine in a little pill bottle and carry it on your person. I carry a bunch of little snacks. Here's some sort of yogurt granola bar, some sort of teriyaki beef stick, and I carry some other stuff in my bag. This is I think a TK4 tourniquet. I keep that in my pocket. I have a better tourniquet in my bag, but in case I get hurt and am in need of a tourniquet, I can get this on quickly if it's in my pocket, and then I can, you know, get to my better tourniquet, and, you know, keep myself alive if I'm bleeding. Another thing I carry is this little orange tape. If I'm hunting in an unfamiliar place where I'm not really sure, I kind of mark my trail. I also carry a Sharpie in case I have to write on that, and I'll tie this around a tree to say that, you know, basically my vehicle or my campsite is southwest of here or whatever. That way I don't circle around. I've heard lots of stories of really experienced hunters getting lost out in the woods when they are hunting in unfamiliar places. Another thing I carry that I don't particularly necessarily need, but I like it, is a rangefinder. If I'm sitting in a field or whatever and I'm trying to you know, get my holdovers or hold unders or whatever, you know, if I know what the distance is and what particular rifle that I'm carrying, I know my point of aim at that particular place where I'm hiding out or camping. So I keep this on my person as well. And I use it a lot, depending on what rifle I'm using. Yeah. Like I said, 10 extra rounds in here in this little thing. I think I paid $10 for this. It holds 10 extra rounds. That's good. And now we're going to talk about the bag. Now this is my hunting bag, and I got this from Walmart. It was probably like $30. It's pretty cheap, but it's got Molly on it, and I've got other stuff attached to it. And, you know, it was a pretty decent deal. I'm not crazy about the color, but you know, you can actually dye these things with that RIT dye, and I'm thinking of probably getting some dark green dye and maybe making this little thing a little bit more greener, because this is sort of like a desert cam thing, and obviously in Middle Tennessee we're not in the desert. Okay, let's talk about everything that's outside of the pack and mollied or zip tied to the pack. This is my med kit. It holds a ventilated operator kit, some scissors, what else is in here? Some duct tape. It's always good to have duct tape. Don't carry rolls of duct tape. Get an old credit card or an old piece of cardboard and wrap it in, because it's a considerably smaller thing that you can actually carry more. And since I'm hunting, I've got 3 wet wipes and probably 3 sets of rubber gloves here in case I have to field dress a deer, on top of the ventilated operator kit. And I'll go through the ventilated operator kit some other time and basically do a video on that. Yeah. So this is an old military surplus pouch that I paid like $5 or $6 for in woodland camo, and that's pretty cool. Getting back to the tourniquet, this is a what's called a rat's tourniquet, and this is about the best tourniquet you can buy. And I got a little pouch for it. The pouch wasn't, I won't say it was expensive, but it wasn't cheap. It's $15. But I got a tourniquet there. On the other side of this, I have a cheap little multi-tool that I had to zip tie to the molly. So I've got that there. Over here on this side of the pouch, I have a Canteen, about a quart or so. It's green and it holds about a quart of water. You always got to have water. This is a life straw. I might do a video on this later. It's a very important tool to have in case you need water. And this little strap here goes through the Canteen handle just to keep it still. Now on the other side, I have a regular military canteen. In this particular little pocket on the side, I've got some water purification tablets. On this side, I've got some camo paint. You never know when you might need that. Regular canteen, and I'm not going to take it out, but there's a metal canteen cup in here in case I need to heat up some water or cook something. So there's that. And here I have this little, I'm not really sure what the hell this is, but this is a little tab with a hook on it that has my blood type on it, and with a P38 can opener. Sometimes I carry cans of food, and it's always good to have a can opener in case I'm passed out or something. Someone comes along and rescues me and I need a blood transfusion, I'll at least know what my blood type is, which is O positive. And that's it for the outside of the bag. Now on the straps, what I have here is, this is an SOE flashlight pouch, Bushnell TRS T25. It's a good hunting light. 125 lumens, runs on one AA battery. It has a regular light, and then it has some sort of red light that's supposed to help you look for blood, or a purple light that's supposed to help you look for blood, or whatever. But it's a fairly decent flashlight and a fairly decent size. It fits in my hand quite good, and it's got these ribbed ends, and if you don't know really how these tactical flashlights work, this is also a fairly competent weapon. You hit somebody in the forearm with that, and they're definitely going to let go of your ass. So there's that. Now, one thing you should never go out in the woods without is without a compass. This is your standard military compass. They're not terribly expensive. I think maybe I paid $15-20 for this. It came with this little pouch that I've got zip tied to it. It's a little floppy. I'm not really crazy about it, but it's good to have a compass to at least know where you're going. If your end location you know is southwest, or you're heading northeast or whatever, it's a good thing to at least know where the hell you're going, or know how to get back. Now, I have this little package or pocket in here, and I've got spare batteries. I've got 6 AA's, those go to my flashlights. I've got 3 AAA's that go to a headlamp that I have in here, and I have 2 3-volt batteries that go to weapon lights that I have. This is a neat little thing that I bought at Walmart for $5. It's a little compass, whistle, and temperature gauge. Whistle in case you have to signal for help. Compass isn't great, but at least you get a brief idea on the back of how cold or how hot it may be within a few degrees. The most important thing is if you wear glasses, bring an extra set of glasses. Your glasses could break, you could lose your glasses. For me, without glasses, I can't see and I'd be fucked. So I keep that in there. I keep this little whistle in here, my spare batteries in there, and this Ziploc bag so they stay dry. The bag will keep it fairly dry anyway, but it's always good to have a Ziploc bag. Right. In this compartment here is my fire kit. And it just flew all over the freaking place. I have numerous ways to start a fire. If you only have one way to start a fire, you're fucked. Fire is life. You should at least have 3 or 4 different ways to start a fire in case you need a fire. Because if you get lost out in the woods, and you could freeze to death, even in Tennessee. Okay. Now, in this pocket here, I'm not sure if you can be able to see that, but I've got 2 pouches right here. Wet naps, not wet naps, but you know, toilet paper, the wet kind. I have, 2 chem lights in there, about 100 feet of paracord that I got from Walmart. It cost like $5. These are 2 signal flares. Okay, here is where I keep my headlamp in case I'm out in the middle of the night and have to see. I have an extra spare box of whatever ammo I'm hunting with that day. 1 spare flashlight, gum, 2 packs of gum. You have a tendency to get dehydrated. If you're low on water, gum will keep your mouth moist so you will drink less. It's always good to have water, but in case you run out of water, this will help. I have 2 of these survival blankets from Walmart. They cost about $5 a piece. These will keep you from freezing to death. And here I have 2 33 round Glock 9mm magazines. Now, you'd have to be in some serious shit to get into that. But I'm not a big fan of keeping bullets in a sort of bug out bag that aren't in magazines. If I have to put this in my gun, I can put this in my gun. If I need to reload smaller magazines, and I carry 1, 2, 3, extra Glock 19 mags. If I have to reload these mags for whatever reason, you never know, then I've got those. Or if I get in serious trouble, whatever. Now your chances of getting in serious trouble out there are pretty freaking slim, but you know, who knows. Here is the Emberlit stove. I'll be doing a video on this, and what this is a stove that is for cooking or for heating, and it is really, really small, really thin, fits right into this pocket, and I'll do a video on that some other time. And this was a $3-4 little pocket saw thing in case you need to saw up some firewood. I've never used it, but I think that it'll work fine. So there's that pocket. And this all comes out to here, and I did my fire kit. So I'm gonna open up the main pocket. There's a bunch of shit in here. Let's open it up and see what we got. Alright, here. Now, like I said, this is my ADC knife. This is the Buck Bantam. It goes in my pocket right here. I have a tendency to lose things. So I've got a backup knife, and this is a regular buck hunting knife that my grandpa Rodney gave me when I was 12 years old, and for Christmas, and I actually still have this knife. It's still great. It still holds a great edge. Every time I use it, I think of him because he was a pretty decent hunter and a pretty cool dude for a grandpa. And so I've got an extra knife there. Okay, in this little bag here, I'm not really sure what this bag is. I never throw away little bags. But a lot of times I hunt by myself. And what I have here, what this is a deer drag. It goes around your thing in case you have to drag some dead deer, you know, out of it. And it came with a little clip on the back of it, and it had like 4 feet of paracord tied to the end of it. And I was like, that is going to break on a 150, 200 pound deer. So in here I have a ratcheting tie strap in orange. And so I could tie this around the deer and tie that around the thing. I have a couple of, what do they call these things? These little clippy things. I don't know what they're called. I forget at the moment. But hook the strap up to there, turn and drag your deer out of the woods. Okay. I always carry some food. This is some sweet and salty nut mix in case I get hungry. I have a towel, like a little dish towel here in case I need to field dress a deer, and I can wash off and basically not have deer blood all over me. One cool thing about the Emberlit stove is it will fit a small can of sterno. And so I carry a small can of sterno that in case I have to cook something or basically stay warm. Along with my med kit, this is what I call the boo-boo kit. And this is full of simple, small things like Band-Aids, aspirin, diarrhea tablets, things of that nature. I'll do a video on that later. I have some zip ties that will help in building a shelter with a tarp in case you need to do that. This is a basic knife sharpener with a coarse side and a fine side in case I have to sharpen blades out into the woods. This, I call this my Rambo knife. This is your basic commando battle knife. It's got a little saw on the back, and it's got this and that and the other thing. And it's got a little thing in here. This is a little compass. And in here I've got some matches, some fishing line, and a needle, and so on and so forth. I can either fish or sew up a wound or whatever. So it's good to have that. I also, to me, this is probably the coolest thing I have. This is the Fast Wing Tomahawk. This is a good survival tool. It's also a weapon. You can chop up wood with it, you can break car windows with it, you can hammer things with it from this side, and like I said, it's also a good weapon if you know how to use it. 3 contractor bags. You can use these to collect water, to use as a poncho, to use partly as a shelter. All kinds of things you can do with these. I carry 3 of them. Sometimes I carry 6 of them, depending on what my needs are. In this little bag I have a camouflage poncho in case it rains. It can also be used as a shelter, so on and so forth. In this last pocket here, I've got some snacks. Here is a oats and dark chocolate granola bar. 1, 2. These are like instant coffees, instant sugars, instant creamers, vacuum packed. So that's basically about 3 days worth of coffee that I carry with me. What else have I got here? This was left over from an MRE, Irish cream cappuccino instant powder. Beverage base raspberry. This is like raspberry Gatorade powder or something. Dehydration is a motherfucker. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, you can get dehydrated. This will put your electrolytes back and shit like this. I've got another thing of Pedialyte. Pedialyte is way better than Gatorade or Powerade or whatever because it contains significantly less sugar. In powder form, they're fairly inexpensive. It's good to keep a few of those around. What else do we have in here? I've got this little stupid, it's got a fork, it's got a spoon, it's got a corkscrew, it's got a knife, whatever. Ozark Trail, it was at Walmart for $4. It's an eating utensil that you can eat with. Deep in this pouch, I carry 1 MRE. Now, they say an MRE is 1 meal, but believe it or not, there's enough food in an MRE to keep you alive for at least a day or 2. This is the Menu 22 Sloppy Joe. Then, what else do I have? Another teriyaki beef stick. What else? And the last thing I have in my food pouch is, if shit gets really bad, emergency food ration bars. You get these at Walmart. There's 2,400 calories in this pocket. I don't know how many bars there are, but excellent source of 17 vitamins and minerals, apple cinnamon flavor. I can assure you that this tastes like shit, but it will keep you alive if you get lost in the woods. So there's that. I don't know what the fuck that is. Silica gel. Do not eat, but it keeps the food alive. Ask yourself. And that's about it for the bag. Now, yes, the bag is heavy. When fully loaded, I want to say this bag probably weighs 30 pounds. Alright? Oh, you're like, well, ounces equals pounds, pounds equals pain, so on and so forth. If this bag is too heavy for you, go to the fucking gym. You're a pussy. Soldiers are out there for years have been carrying a hell of a lot more weight than this. Plus you also can set it down. And I'm a firm believer in it. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. If in case the bag gets too heavy for you, you can always drop things along the way. I personally wouldn't drop things along the way. I would just tough it out. 30 pounds on your back, if it's set up correctly and it's, the weight is distributed evenly, it's not going to be that bad. You should practice or exercise being able to carry this amount of weight. I can carry this amount of weight and probably travel about 3 miles an hour, you know. I can do a mile in about 15 minutes. You know, this is also serving as sort of like a get home, bug out bag sort of thing if I'm at work and something happens and I have to hump home. I've got enough supplies and preps in this bag to basically keep me alive for 2 or 3 days until I get to where it is that I'm going to be going, or if I'm lost. So that's basically it. So get used to it, and because it's a tragedy. Like I said, I've heard many stories of experienced hunters getting lost out in the woods and dying. You don't want to do that, because dying sucks. So be prepared or be fucked. This is Mr. Guitar Time Guns. If you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Wish me luck. I'm going to look for deer.